Assalamu alaikum, sir. Azam, how are you?
Alhamdulillah ji, all is good.
That's wonderful, sir. So, how's going life nowadays?
Alhamdulillah, chal rahi hai. I have reached Farhan that age that when I get up in the morning and if I'm breathing, I'm
Hmm.
very happy. I feel that Allah Ta'ala has given me one more day. We
Hmm.
will see tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So it's a great feeling when you wake up every morning and you
Hmm.
realize that it's a great feeling. So Alhamdulillah, all is good.
Although these feelings have no connection with the age, sir. I mean, anybody can feel it, and everybody,
Yeah,
everybody should be thankful for these feelings.
bilkul, bilkul.
Okay, so now, sir, tell me, how do you see your life? How was it? And I mean, from where it all started, that you became the tennis player, and then now moving on toward now, you're also, I guess, the life coach of the cricket captain that we have. So, how was
Yeah,
this journey, and how do you feel about that?
it's a long journey. And um, what I have done, Farhan, is that the different things I've done,
Hmm.
I've allowed them to help them in my professional life.
All right.
Okay?
Hmm.
So let me explain to you how.
Hmm.
When I started playing sport,
Hmm.
so sport taught me how to lose. उससे
Hmm.
बेहतर चीज है नहीं दुनिया में जो
Schools never teach us that thing.
never. Sports teaches you how to lose. So
Hmm.
since I was a sportsman and I was a national sportsman,
Hmm.
I've seen more defeat than victory. And if you see more defeat than victory in your life,
Hmm.
then defeat doesn't bother you. I give an example that when a lion hunts,
Hmm.
lionesses, when they hunt,
Hmm. Hmm.
they have a success ratio of 27%.
All right.
And 73% of the time they fail.
Hmm.
And they still keep hunting for the rest of their life. Now, can you imagine humans doing that? If you and I fail for 73%, we would stop doing that thing the next morning.
Indeed. Or
We would
society
say,
will.
yaar, badi mehrbani yaar.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if we fail
Hmm.
73% of the time in doing anything, we will never do it
Hmm.
again. We will say, yeah, I mean, I'm not capable of doing that.
True.
So sports teaches you to fall on your face and then get up again, and then fall on your face and get up again. So that's
Hmm.
what I learned from sports.
Hmm.
What I learned from music was that no matter how good you are, you can't do it alone.
Hmm.
You
Wonderful.
can't do it. ठीक है जी.
Hmm.
So Ustad Allah Rakha could be the best tabla player in the world, but he will
Hmm.
need somebody to play the sitar or the
Yeah.
harmonium. you
Indeed.
know.
Hmm.
And Hari Prasad Chaurasia, if he's, playing the flute or he's
Hmm.
playing the santoor or whatever, he would need Zakir Hussain to play tabla with him. So
Hmm.
music teaches you that no matter how good you are, and you could be very, very good, you just cannot do it alone.
Hmm.
So
Good.
that's what music taught me.
All
Okay,
right.
so
Hmm.
if you look at if you look at a band,
Hmm.
uh, you know, so each member of the band is doing something different,
Hmm.
but collectively, what comes to your ears is
Hmm.
what you like. So, when the Vital Signs were playing,
Hmm.
Junaid was doing something else, and Rohil was doing something else, and Salman was doing something else, and Nusrat was doing something else. Each one does his own role,
Hmm.
and the collective, result is what success is.
Hmm.
So, this is what music taught me.
All right.
Flying taught me, we pilots live in the world of checklists. You don't move forward till your
Hmm.
checklist is complete. There are
Okay.
no shortcuts. There are no
Hmm.
shortcuts in life.
Hmm.
So if I'm sitting in an aircraft and I'm reading out a checklist, and
Hmm.
if there are 20 points in that checklist
Hmm.
and one point is not working, I'll
Hmm.
shut down the engines. We're not taking off. It's as simple as
Hmm.
that. So flying taught me, to be very thorough and keep doing the checklist.
Hmm. Good one.
And my training and my teaching and everything taught me engaging with different kinds of people. So when you're
Hmm.
training,
Hmm.
you're engaging with different kinds of people. They are good people, they are bad people.
Yeah.
हर क्लास में you'll find somebody whose total purpose is to disrupt the class.
Yeah.
You'll always find one person who's there to piss you off.
Hmm.
So but you learn to deal with that. So
Hmm.
so I've taken different parts of what I did,
Hmm.
and I've added them into my try to add them into my personality,
Hmm.
so that I take the best out of each thing that I've done, and
Hmm.
and that's what I am. That's what Azam Jamil is.
Hmm. Mashallah, sir. So you have done a lot and such great exposure that you've got through your life. You have played tennis nationally. You have played music. You have played. You fly, and then now again a coach. So how do you see the coaching thing and the training thing, and how it all started, and what sort of trainings do you provide usually?
Yeah, देखो, my training started 30 years ago,
All right.
um, and I provide, you know mostly life improvement trainings. Of course, I do skill trainings also.
Okay.
Half my profile is imparting skills, different skills to different teams, right?
All right.
So, for example, if some company calls me and says कि जी हमारी sales team में teamwork नहीं है, these
Hmm.
guys are not working well together,
Hmm.
so then I teach them teamwork, right?
Okay.
So some kids are not selling well, so I teach them selling techniques. So these
Hmm.
are skill sessions that I've been doing for many, many years.
Hmm.
But what's more important is, other than these skill sessions, I do, an overall, uh, किसको क्या कहते हैं, is a self-assessment session, which
Hmm.
allows you to see where you are, where your integrity is, where your
Hmm.
character is, what are the mistakes in your life that you are making.
Hmm.
And so I do a lot of coaching per se.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I've been doing that. Even when, I've been very fortunate that even when I was working with companies, training was never my profession. It
Hmm.
was always a hobby. So
Okay.
when I was the head of Serena Sales and Marketing,
Hmm.
my boss used to allow me to train other than my sales and marketing.
Hmm.
So when I joined Murtaza Ashwani as Chief Operating Officer of the Education Division, he allowed me to train. So
Hmm.
my bosses have been very kind. They've never stopped me from training, because their
Hmm.
belief was that if he's imparting knowledge,
Hmm.
why would you stop? Why stop him?
Hmm.
So, in the last 5 years of my career, training became a part of my title. The
Hmm.
other, 40 years, training was never a part of my profession.
Hmm. Okay. So it was more like a passion earlier, but now it's a
Absolutely.
profession.
As was tennis, as was flying, as was music.
Hmm. Mashallah. So, sir, you have got so many challenges in yourself. I mean, these challenges were not from other people. These challenges were from your own inner thoughts and your
Yeah.
inner self. Now,
Yeah.
if we see the history of your classmate who was in
Yes.
Aitchison College, and you know who am
Yeah.
I relating it to? I mean, is it because of the schooling, or is it because of the mindset that you built over there in that organization, or was it because of the life? How do you see that, sir?
Yeah, dekho, it's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
You can't assign or you can't credit your success or failure
Hmm.
with any one thing.
Hmm.
People who are successful
Hmm.
have done a series of things differently,
Hmm.
and they are successful. It's not just one thing. It's not that they've woken up in the morning and they've worn the wrong shirt. You
Hmm.
know. Similarly, um, if you fail, for example,
Hmm.
it's not because you've done one bad thing.
Hmm.
It's a series of mistakes you've made. So
Hmm.
yes, school and college teaches you a lot.
Okay.
In our times, schools and colleges taught you a lot more than what they teach now,
Hmm.
because now they're only allowed to teach academics.
Hmm.
And in our times, they were teaching academics and they were making an insan out of you. So they had double job responsibility.
Hmm.
Now, schools are not allowed on the tarbiyat side. Parents don't
Hmm.
like that. They are only allowed to teach. So,
Hmm.
which is very sad. So, you can go to school and you can sit for your O levels and you can get 8 A's,
Hmm.
but schools will not guarantee, your character, your integrity, your passion.
Hmm.
So schools don't do that anymore. Sadly, some
Hmm.
may. I'm not sort of clued into the school system, but mostly schools will not do it. So yes, school played a huge part.
Hmm.
Parents played a huge part,
Hmm.
and I keep telling people that when we were young, uh, parents ne hamari besti, they had outsourced our besti.
Hmm.
They had, so they never did it themselves.
Hmm.
Dad's friend,
Hmm.
dad's cousin,
Hmm.
chacha, pupi,
Hmm.
muhalledar. So our besti was outsourced. Everybody else was allowed
Hmm.
to make us into a good human being.
Hmm.
Now, sadly, parents don't allow that. They
Hmm.
don't like anybody uh, telling their son anything. They don't like it. Even
Hmm.
if they're their own relatives, they don't like कि जी हमारे बच्चों को कोई कुछ ना कहे.
Hmm.
Which is fine, which is today's trend. Who am I to say it's right or wrong? But I'm just saying that we had many people teaching us
Hmm.
life. And it was not only parents, it was parents and everybody else. I
Hmm.
keep saying, in my talks also, that Faiz Saab always made it a point
Hmm.
to, to kick my butt, not in real terms, but if I was doing anything wrong, he used
Hmm.
to tell me. And all of my father's friends, and they made it a point to, they helped you grow up.
Hmm.
And the other thing they did, which is different from today, is that they never helped you grow up by giving you lectures.
Hmm.
Never. That was not the
Wonderful.
fashion. The lecture fashion has come in today.
Hmm.
They help you grow up by saying to you, just watch us lead our lives
Hmm.
and just follow us. तो उन्होंने फर्क किया कि अमल करके आपको सिखाया. So you actually saw them doing something. And when
Hmm.
you saw them doing something, then obviously you wanted to do it too. Now, a lot of people, and not a lot of bosses, uh, they they act like travel agents. And you know
Hmm.
what travel agents do? They send you to places where they haven't been themselves. That's what a travel agent does.
What a
So if you
wonderful
go to a
definition. Hmm.
yeah, so if you go to a travel agency, he's
Hmm.
going to paint this beautiful picture of Kumrat Valley, and he'll say, yeah, you must take your family there, and he'll convince you.
Hmm.
And in the end, if you say, have you been? The chances are he hasn't. And this is what current bosses mostly are doing. They
Hmm.
are asking you to go somewhere where they haven't been themselves. Our bosses were different. They first went there. They didn't ask you to do anything that they didn't do themselves.
Hmm.
So when you saw somebody doing it, it just helped you a lot. You know.
Hmm.
So if somebody says कि यार गलती हो जाए तो sorry कह देना.
Hmm.
I've seen my father and I've seen all these people apologize to other people.
Hmm.
Now somebody tells you कि यार sorry कह देना, you say यार मैंने तो तुझे जिंदगी भर sorry कहते हुए नहीं सुना.
Good. Hmm.
I've never heard you say sorry. So things have changed, okay? And these are different times. And when people say that were those times better or these times, so I never get into that. I think it's an unfair question. They were
Hmm.
different times, and times do change. So
Hmm.
some good things come, some bad things come. Is time may, when people ask about my children and
Hmm.
say, is your son um, as good or bad as you when you were young? And I said, I hope not. I hope he's different because
Hmm.
he's born 30, 35 years later. I hope he's not the same.
Hmm.
because he's born a generation later and he needs to bring the change.
Good.
But but yes, change, Farhan, doesn't mean that the change comes in fundamental values. Their change is
Hmm.
not like. There
Hmm.
can be no change in integrity. There can be no change in honesty. There can be no change in character. There can be no change in principles and values. You
Hmm.
can't say जी कि मैं 30 साल बाद पैदा हुआ था तो मैं झूठ बोल सकता हूँ, because these are not affected by time. So he
Hmm.
can wear his jeans, where I can see his underwear. I don't mind.
Hmm.
You know, he can wear whatever the hell he wants to wear. He can, act the way, he can speak the way he wants to,
Hmm.
because that's the new generation that's born 30 years after I was.
Hmm.
But so I encourage that change. I
Hmm.
hope that he's not like me. And I hope that his son is not like him either. So
Hmm.
this change is very important. It must come.
Hmm.
However, we need to ensure that the fundamental,
Values.
the guiding principles should not change.
Hmm. Good one. So what I have got from your words is that it's about the people who are leading the next generation. I mean,
Yes.
it could be from your parents, it could be from relatives, society, your school, your teachers, and everybody. Now, so tell me, this is you were using a boss word who has never done himself any work, and he's guiding, he's teaching to the next generation or to the people. Now, how do you see what is the real definition of leadership in life, in career, and what is that what we have perceived it? How would you
Okay.
differentiate the one we understand and one what actually it is?
First of all, the title of your program is technically incorrect,
All right.
uh, because it mentions leadership skills. Leadership
Hmm.
is not a result of skills. Leadership is a
Hmm.
result of habits.
Hmm. Good.
So जो लोग लीडर्स होते हैं उनकी आदतें अच्छी होती
Hmm.
so it's not about skills, it's about habits.
Hmm.
Also, the mistake people make is that they differentiate between bosses and leaders, and it's not that you have to become one and not the other.
Hmm.
uh, all leaders are bosses, but all bosses are not leaders.
All right.
You understand? So when you are a boss
Hmm.
and you acquire leadership habits over and above becoming that boss,
Hmm.
then you become a leader. Okay. So your leaders hai, I work with many of them.
Hmm.
Were they not bosses? Of course they were bosses. And
Hmm.
they used to hold you accountable, और वो तुम्हें डांटते भी थे, काम भी देते थे. But over and above that, they develop a set of habits
Hmm.
that elevates them to the next level. For example, if you take cricket,
Hmm.
you can't say, ki, ji, is he a captain or is he a cricketer?
Hmm.
He's both.
Hmm.
The first he is a cricketer, and then when he gets elevated to captain,
Hmm.
उसका काम बढ़ जाता है.
Hmm.
But उसको ये कभी नहीं कहा जाता कि जी, now don't play cricket, become a captain.
Good.
So
Good.
now he has to exercise captaincy skills and leadership skills
Hmm.
over and above being a captain, not replacing being a player. So, इसी तरह, when bosses become leaders, it's
Hmm.
not that they stop becoming bosses. They can't.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's just when they have this and then they add this on this and the product becomes. So it's just a collection of habits.
Hmm.
And if you were to, about 3,000 books have been written on leadership so far, and
Hmm.
you will hear a million opinions, and today you're hearing 1 million plus one, and that's all I am. I'm just an opinion. I
Hmm.
am no authority on this, and I'm not. This is not a ruling or a judgment. It's just my opinion.
Hmm.
And the fundamental difference about a boss and a leader, if you were to ask me one difference, although there are many, but if you were to say, okay, ji, today you can't mention the second difference,
Hmm.
mention one.
Hmm.
And the one that I would mention would that, when you become a leader, other people become important to you. And when you are a boss, you are important to you. So the importance from yourself gets transferred to the people you are leading. You
Mm.
worry about them more than you worry about yourself. There, you become their benefactor. You become their tool for growth. Have you, I gave this in a interview 2 days ago.
Mm.
ये जो शेर होता है,
Mhm.
इसका title, you know what the title is for a
Uh,
Babbar Sher?
the
King
king
of
of
the
the
jungle.
jungle. Yeah. Mm.
Exactly.
Mm.
Have you ever seen the job description of this king? This idiot,
Mm.
this idiot sleeps for 9 hours during the day.
Mm.
आने का काम नहीं करता king. Or the only thing that wakes him up is hunger.
Hunger.
इसको अगर भूख ना लगे ये 4 दिन ना उठे.
Mm.
फर्क बिल्कुल आने का काम नहीं है किंग के पास. So when he wakes up, he's
Mm.
hungry, and even then, the king doesn't move to get food. वो lionesses को शेरनियों को भेजता है,
Mm.
because male lions don't hunt.
Mm.
Only female lions hunt.
Okay.
वो जब जाके शेरनियां, when they go and they kill a wildebeest or they kill a buffalo or whatever they kill, after killing that animal, the lionesses move back.
Mm.
And this Badshah Salamat first has to eat himself.
Mm.
Mind you, he's done nothing all day except sleep, right?
Mm.
Now he comes and eats, and only after he's finished eating
Mm.
are other lionesses and other small cubs allowed to come and eat. So
Mm.
I always ask this question, if this guy is the most useless guy on the planet,
Mm.
why does the tribe pay so much respect to him?
Mm.
सवाल है ना भाई.
Good.
The guy that is not doing anything.
Mm.
So why don't the lionesses get together one day and said, "Chal bhai, nikal yahan se bahar."
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
they give him respect, Farhan, for one reason and one reason alone,
Mm.
and which is the core quality of leadership: protection.
Mm.
That guy protects the tribe. वो साल के बाद भी अगर कोई दूसरे का शेर आ जाएगा ना, कोई किसी और प्राइड का, तो this guy is going to say, everybody move back, I will defend you. And he can even give his life defending his pride, because that's his only job, is protection.
Good.
And for that one quality that he has, the pride will follow him all their lives. And they will hunt for him and they will look after him. So imagine how much, how important this quality is. So I tell leaders, I said, first thing you need to do is to start protecting the people you lead. They're your people. They're your people, yaar. If you don't protect them, कौन करेगा?
Good.
वो घर जाके उसकी बेगम करेगी, उसके बच्चे करेंगे. He is looking at you as the leader. Now, it doesn't mean that just because he's protecting him, he doesn't become a boss. He's always be a boss. He'll always ask, what are the targets, what sales targets have been met, what revenues have been met. वो अपनी जगह चलता रहेगा. लेकिन whenever the team feels that they need help, then leaders are always there to help them.
Very good, sir. So you have given us the key traits of the leadership, and you've also given a very great statement that leadership skills, it's not a skill, it's the
It's a habit.
combination of those habits. So
Yes.
I would like to ask you this last question about this leadership thing. So tell me, what are those habits? The way we've got it, like leader protects everybody around him. Now, what are the other habits that leaders should adopt?
Okay. The first habit is that are you help are you communicating with them? Are you talking with them? And communication doesn't mean official communication. It means talking to them as a human being. So if I go tell my boss that I've I'm taking 2 days off
Hmm.
because my son is unwell.
Hmm.
And when I come back after 2 days,
Hmm.
a typical boss will say, "Oh, aa gaye ho? Very good." But you know what a leader will say? "How's your son feeling?"
Hmm.
You see the difference?
Yeah.
Now, so there is communication, but there is communication on an empathetic level.
Hmm.
There's empathy in leaders. They care
Hmm.
about you,
Hmm.
and they genuinely care about you. Okay,
All right.
then the second habit is that they are responsible for your growth.
Hmm.
They can't say कि जी लॉटरी निकलेगी तो शायद तुम प्रमोट हो जाओगे.
Hmm.
Leaders are held accountable.
Hmm.
When I was working for the Aga Khan Development Network,
Hmm.
if if I do in an appraisal of a manager, if I wrote that this person's, let's say, Microsoft Excel skills are poor, right?
Hmm.
That's my job. I need to assess it.
Okay.
Farhan, the next year I cannot write that weakness because they are going to say, why the hell did you not fix it?
Hmm.
तेरा काम है ना भाई.
Good. Hmm.
ये क्या है कि हर साल लिख दिया his English is poor, every
Hmm.
year his English is poor. और भाई ठीक किसने करनी है?
Hmm. Good.
So if in the Ahan Development Network, if you write the same fault or the same weakness over and over again, they
Hmm.
will come and ask you, okay,
Hmm.
bhai,
That's your
what's your
fault.
job?
Hmm.
Yeah, why haven't you fixed it? Have you arranged his training? Have you sent him for, whatever? What steps
Hmm.
have you taken?
Hmm.
Now, if you say, "Gee, I took the 10 steps, and despite my steps, he's still not improving," so that's something different.
Hmm.
But if you have not taken any steps to help him, then it's not his fault, right?
Hmm. Then now it has become your fault.
Of
Good.
course, you are responsible, yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, बॉस लेने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आपकी तनख्वाह ज्यादा है और आपकी गाड़ी बड़ी है, उसके साथ 10 काम और करने पड़ती है ना भाई.
Hmm.
सो द अदर थिंग इज फरहान कि एक तो ग्रोथ आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, कम्युनिकेशन आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, एम्पथी आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है,
Hmm.
और विजन आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. Now,
Hmm.
one of the many differences between a boss and a leader is, or all those bosses who do not have leadership qualities in them, a boss will operate day to day. वो
Hmm.
कहेगा आज हमने 10 एसी बेचने थे, 10 बिक गए.
Hmm.
And the minute 10 are sold, the target is met, he is very happy.
Hmm.
So he is not interested what happens 3 years from now.
Hmm.
Leaders have to have the vision. They need to tell me that, okay, you are selling 10 air conditioners right now.
Hmm.
If you continue to do this for 6 months, then this is what is waiting for you. And
Hmm.
after 2 years, this is what's waiting for you. And after 5 years, this is what's waiting for you. So, what are they doing? They are involved in vision.
Hmm.
So leaders have a three-step way. They have the future, they engage, and they deliver.
Hmm.
So first, they have to define the future. Once they define the future, then they have to engage with their team. And
Hmm.
once they engage with their team, then what happens? They deliver.
Hmm.
So bosses more often than not tend to stay in the present. They are
Hmm.
not interested कि जी कल क्या होगा, बस ये जो क्वार्टरली टारगेट है ये मीट हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा.
Hmm.
And once the quarterly target is met, then they look at the next quarter and they go quarter to quarter as long as the targets are met. Leaders have a different mindset.
Hmm.
The other thing I told you was in the earlier thing that leaders should not be lecturing you into action.
Hmm.
They need to set an example for you.
Hmm.
So if he's telling you कि बेटा ये जो पीएन आते हैं या ये जो चिपड़ासी आते हैं,
Hmm.
इनके साथ तमीज से बात करना, and the next day you see the same person उनकी बेइज्जती कर रहा है, so it doesn't have any impact.
Wonderful.
because now he's just lecturing you. He's doing nothing else.
Hmm.
So if he wants you to do something, then he can't be a travel agent.
Hmm.
He has to be a tour guide. And a
Hmm.
tour guide और travel
He
agent में
knows
फर्क होता है.
everything. Hmm.
टूर गाइड सामने आता है, कहता है चलो जी मेरे पीछे,
Good
फ्रॉम
one.
हियर वील टर्न लेफ्ट एंड यहाँ पर हम राइट मुड़ेंगे तो आगे लेक होगी.
Hmm.
व्हेन वी टर्न लेफ्ट देयर विल बी अनदर लेक, देयर विल बी अ वाटरफॉल, बट ही इज लीडिंग यू एंड यू आर फॉलोइंग हिम. A travel agent sitting in Karachi will send you to Kagan,
Hmm.
you know, and show you some pictures and he'll show you and he'll tell you to must go to Kagan. It's a beautiful place, and you will go.
Hmm.
But technically, leadership is not about being a travel agent. It's being a tour guide.
Very good, sir. So the best part I have learned from you today, these are the things that a leader should do, and these are the things that he should not do as well. For instance, he should not be the travel
Yeah,
agent. That's a good part.
yeah,
So trust me, this is one of the best interviews I've ever conducted in my life,
thank you,
and I have
thank
learned a
you.
lot because everything that you were saying, of course, it was not written in the books. These are the life experiences that you have
Yes,
got, mashallah.
yeah,
And you
yeah.
have achieved that buzurgi, mashallah, what you were saying in your video. And
But Farhan, I need to repeat. देखो, this is not physics, right?
hmm,
That Sir Isaac Newton came and gave a formula, and the whole world follows that formula.
hmm,
This is life.
hmm,
It has many forces acting on it.
hmm,
What could work for me may not work for the person next door. What
hmm,
works for him does not work for him. So I just want to tell whoever's watching this program
hmm,
that this is an opinion of mine, nothing more
hmm,
than one opinion. Okay.
hmm,
And it has worked in my life. Okay.
hmm, hmm,
And I I have nothing more to uh, take from than my own life. I've
hmm,
spent 45 years working, and everything I teach and everything I tell you is what I've done. मैं
hmm.
कोई कहीं से पढ़ के नहीं आता.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's not a science. It's my opinion. It's
Hmm.
worked for me, and hopefully it will work for others.
Yeah,
But people should not view my comment as a judgment कि जी अब
hmm,
ये रूलिंग आ गई है और
hmm.
इसके अलावा कोई और चीज सही नहीं है. That's not what life is.
Yeah, true.
If there are 10 opinions, all 10 are valid in their own way. So that's just, I wanted to clarify that.
That's good, sir. That's good. So, sir, thank you so very much for your time. And I'm definitely gonna hit you again to come for another interview because I really enjoyed
Sure.
it. Sure. All right, sir. Thank you so very much. Take care. Stay
It's a
blessed.
pleasure.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Fran. Thank you.
Allah
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz. Allah
Allah Hafiz,
Hafiz.
sir.